So a couple years back, I released my first plugin called Duckout, the Do Everything Sidechain plugin that really was meant to simplify the whole sidechaining process. You don't need to know anything about EQ, compression, anything like that. Select the instrument you're on, turn up the mix knob, and you got some sidechaining. That's what Duckout was all about. So today we're gonna go ahead and take Duckout a step further. I use Duckout a lot, pretty much in every single one of my mixes. I know a lot of you do as well. There was some things that was sort of left me wanting more from the plugin, even though I put it together. It left me wanting more, so I figured, you know what, now's a good time to put together an update and sort of address those issues. So this is the new Duckout, a completely brand new design and 2 new algorithms for punch mode. At launch, punch mode came with 2 algorithms, One Hit Wonder and Take the Lead. One Hit Wonder, as you may know, was for percussive elements, and Take the Lead was for vocals and instruments. Now, when I was using Take the Lead on vocals, it left me wanting more, and I knew the plugin could do better on vocals specifically. Those 2 algorithms were generally a catch-all, so we programmed them in a way where any instrument you throw at it, it will sort of adapt to it. But for vocals, I wanted something a little bit more. So the new algorithm is called Vocal Space, and it does exactly what the name is. It gives you space for your vocals specifically. So if you're ever finding your vocals are sort of not having their own place to sit in the mix, put on an instance of Duckout with Vocal Space, turn up the knob, and it'll give space for that vocal to sit on top of everything else. So let's just jump right into the session right here. We got a vocal, some guitar, some drums, and we're gonna go ahead and use Duckout in various ways to get this track to sound a lot more polished just by using Duckout. So let's go ahead and just play this out here.
You've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh, I almost gave you my devotions. You were playing my emotions just to get it. Oh, but the truth is...
All right, so let's go ahead and head on over to our kick and our 808, and let's start off there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and loop this up. So if we take a listen to the kick and 808 closely, you'll notice that the frequencies are overlapping, they're clashing, and it's making it sound flat. But we want the kick to sort of punch through the mix. So what we're gonna do is on our 808, we're gonna go ahead and bring in an instance of Duckout. Over on the sidechain, we're gonna call in that kick. So that kick is gonna control what Duckout is going to do. And every time that kick hits, it's gonna duck out that 808 to give a pocket for the kick to live. So on our punch mode, we're gonna go over to Happy Kick 808. And then we're just gonna go ahead and just turn up the knob to taste. As I turn up the knob, you'll notice the kick will start to have a lot more clarity. So I kind of like it right there. Let's go ahead and A/B it. See, when it's off, you kind of lose the punchiness in the kick. All right, next up, let's go ahead and jump over to our vocals and guitars. They're sounding a little bit clashy as well.
You've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic.
So there will always be instruments that are clashing with your vocals, but you want the vocals to be the star of the show, as it should be. We want your vocals just to sit on top of everything else so that it could be heard more clearly. So on our guitar, we have an instance of Duckout. On the sidechain input, we're gonna call on that vocal track. And on punch mode, we're gonna go to Vocal Space to get it sitting on top of those guitars. Once again, as we turn up the knob, you're gonna start to hear the vocal sort of lift off of the guitar.
You've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh, I almost you've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic.
All right, so let's go ahead and A/B that.
You've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh,
you see, it's not drastically changing the sound or the tone, but it's just lifting the vocals on top of the guitar, and it's not sort of lost in all that sound. It's sort of living in its own lane and just giving it that space that it needs to sort of stand out.
You've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh, I almost you've been...
All right, so next up, we're gonna go ahead and add in some dynamics to our hi-hat. Now, our hi-hat is very static. Anytime you work with sort of MIDI, things are going to sound a bit staticky. You know, you want music to be dynamic, you want it to be fluid, you want it to have movement. When you're recording live instruments, there's always movement, there's always sort of dynamics in the sound. So we're gonna go ahead and recreate that using duck out. Over on our hi-hat track, we're gonna go ahead and bring in an instance of duck out. We're gonna call on our sidechain, and I'm gonna use the kick to control the dynamics of this hi-hat. So to our kick over here, and we're gonna leave it on the one hit wonder preset here. Let's go ahead and just solo out our kick and hi-hat. I'm gonna pull up the knob, and you'll notice that the hi-hat is gonna have a lot more movement to it. Every time the kick hits, the hi-hat's gonna sort of duck a little bit, and it'll just give a organic flow to it. You don't want too much. So I can actually go ahead into the hi-hat pattern and adjust the velocity on each note. That is a bit time consuming, and it's a little bit more organic if you're having something else control another sound in your mix. It's a little bit more real and authentic. So that's why I got my kick controlling the hi-hat. So now it's just flowing a little bit better. Very subtle, but it makes a difference. All right, so now let's go ahead and A/B our entire mix. We added 3 instances of duck out. Let's see how much clarity it added to the kick, the vocals, and added a little bit more dynamics to the hi-hat.
You've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh, I almost gave you my devotions. You were playing my emotions just to get it. Oh, but the truth, you've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh, I almost gave you my devotions. You were playing my emotions just to get it. Oh, but the truth, you've been feeling lonely, but you don't ever call me pathetic. Oh, I almost gave you my devotions. You were playing my emotions just to get it. Oh, but the truth.
So next up, I just want to showcase the pump mode in duck out if you're not familiar with it. This just adds more movement to your sound. You don't have to sidechain anything into it to control it. You just turn up the knob and you'll get that movement. So shape 1, you'll get this sort of pumping effect that you hear in a lot of electronic music. Shape 2 is sort of like a wavy type of sound. And shape 3 is a little bit like of a random glitchy type of shape. That right there is the update to duck out. This is a completely free update if you already own duck out. If you do want to learn more about it, I'll place a link down below this video. Not a huge update, but definitely little things can help a long way in a mix. And let me know what you think about the update down in the comment section below. How do you use duck out? Sometimes I'm told how you use duck out, and it sort of surprises me because I wouldn't use it in that way. So it's always fun to hear how you use duck out yourself. But other than that, let me know if you do have any questions on this. I do have updates coming for the other 3 plugins in the I'm a Music Mogul collection: Wavy, Wide, and Sampled. Updates coming soon for those as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Thanks for enjoying duck out, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.